Hello, I am Nathan or Fortinat. I'm on Team Moistar, and I'm going to do a Miraidon EX Regieleki post-rotation deck profile. Okay, so this is the Miraidon EX deck. It has 4 Miraidon EX, which I personally think is the best EX in the base set, Scarlet and Violet set. It has the ability, once during your turn, you may search your deck for 2 basic lightning Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Very powerful. You can set up more Miraidon. You can also set up things like Regieleki. And then for double lightning colorless, it does 220 damage during your next turn. This Pokemon cannot attack. And the bad part about it is that it has only 220 HP. I still think this is the best EX in the format because it is very fast. It's probably one of the fastest decks ever. And it has a ton of lightning pairs that I can work with. I can work with Flaffy, you can work with Regieleki, you can work with Zapdos, Pirachizu. There is a lot. And with Regieleki, it does a lot of damage as well. A lot of people would argue that Gardevoir may be better. Personally, I think Gardevoir is a little overrated. I think that may be like tier 2 since there's not much you compare it with. But this list is Miraidon Regieleki. It runs a 4/4 line of Regieleki. Regieleki makes it so that your basic lightning attacks do 30 more damage. So with 2 Regieleki in play, your Miraidon will do 280, which will knock out pretty much all V-Stars. It should. Maybe not Regigigas. I don't know if that would be any good. And then it also does 220 itself, so it can be a decent attack if you need to have an HP tank inactive. It also has free retreat, which is nice. And then there are 4 other Pokemon, 1 Zapdos. The Zapdos is in here because you may at one point want a 1 prize attacker, especially if you're versing like a Lost Box, which by the way is definitely not dead, I can tell you that. It makes it so that Miraidon does 10 more damage, and it does 110 for 3, which is not very good, but again, with Regieleki, it can do a decent amount of damage. And the main reasons it's in the deck is because if something like Urshifu becomes popular, since Miraidon will be very powerful, then Urshifu has 320 HP, and with 3 Regielekis, it will do 310. And instead of forcing needing the 4/4 line at all times, Zapdos boosts that up to 320 so that you do not need the 4th Regieleki, which will be very hard to pull off. So Zapdos seems pretty helpful in that matchup. We have Radiant Greninja, extra draw power, just so it goes a little faster. You may have a hard time getting it out, but if you like draw into it, it will be very powerful to put on bench. That is if you have enough bench space, depends on the matchup. 1 Luminion if you want Boss or Arven for something important. I feel like you kind of just need this in here because there's always the chance that you just don't get what you need, and this is the perfect card for getting pretty much anything because it can grab Arven, Boss, Research. And then lastly, the backbone of the format, Diancie. And I say this because a lot of decks like this will pretty much always have to go first. And if they do not, then they lose because they do not have a strong enough HP. So that they just lose the prize trade. So Diancie is very, very powerful in the format. A lot of decks I feel like will rely on this. Maybe Klefki. I feel like even a second one or one of this and like a Klefki or something would be like just as powerful. Just in case you like Brick One or something. Or not Brick One, sorry, Prize One. So that is very important. Another thing is if you're in the mirror match, you will also want to try and get this turn 1 because with Electro Generator, your opponent can get a turn 1 Miraidon out and KO a active Miraidon, or even use a boss's orders if they really get that lucky in their hand, and play the boss and knock it out, which would not be able to be done with Diancie inactive. I mean, I could see cross switchers maybe coming out in a later list of this, but I don't think it's very good right now. Needs more draw power. For the supporter line, it has 4 research, just to go really fast. It's kind of like a turbo build of stuff. It's pretty consistent. I mean, you can get Lumineon, you can draw it out from Greninja, you can just, like, draw it in general. And then it also plays 4 Arven. Judge could also be decent in this deck. I could see that. But I feel like you need to draw more cards in order to get it to work. So the Arven is for grabbing Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, Electro Generator, Switch Cart, Lost Vacuum, which I will talk about in a minute, Forest Steelstone, or XP Share, which are all key parts in the deck. So Arven is pretty much just as good as Research, unless you really need like more Pokemon or other ways to get stuff, like energy. It runs 2 boss's orders. A third would be nice, but I feel like with the Lumineon, 2 is really all that's needed. Plus with Diancie, you can't always like use the boss in general. Another supporter that would be good is Jock, like a 1-of, so that you can Lumineon for it and grab 2 Regieleki Vmaxes. But what I've been noticing is that I never really play the card because I prefer to play Research and then draw into them anyway, because it's pretty likely. Especially since you play like 4 Ultra Ball. The 4 Ultra Ball really help because they can get anything. Most likely Regieleki Vmax, because Miraidon, of course, can search out everything else except Greninja, Lumineon. Lumineon could also be searched. Greninja could also be searched. Diancie could. And then I've noticed that a lot of similar lists to this play like 4 Nest Ball, but I only just play 1. I feel like the only reason you need Nest Ball is that if you go second and you do not start Miraidon, you can Arven for 1. And if you Arven for a Nest Ball, then you can grab Miraidon, and then you can just like pile your bench through the Miraidon. Because it's not once per turn. You can Miraidon for Miraidon and Regieleki, and then grab 2 more Regieleki from that Miraidon. So I really just think 1 Nest Ball is necessary. I mean, maybe a second one, but I don't know. I feel like there's room for better things. It plays 4 Electricity Generator. This is how you accelerate the energy. So there are a lot of energy so that you can consistently get at least like 1 to 2. Most likely 2, actually. I've noticed that it's the majority of times with 16 energy is how many I play. It gets 2. It gets 1 pretty close to that, and then 0. It can happen mainly later in the game, but you really only need to use like 3 of them, maybe 4 if one of them doesn't work as much as you'd like. So you technically want to grab like 2 from it. If you don't know what the card does, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, grab up to 2 lightning energy. I think it's up to, it should be up to 2 lightning energy, and attach them to one of your bench lightning Pokemon. So you attach 2 to a bench Miraidon, and then you attach return, and then you switch or retreat to the Miraidon and knock out with however much damage you need to because of all the Regieleki. Or you can just retreat manually because, of course, the VMAX has free retreat and it's kind of an HP tank at the same time. So pretty consistent and nice. We have 2 switch cart. This is if they whiff an attack, you might want to switch cart just so that you can like reuse it instead of having to go through another Miraidon. Or if you started something that you can't retreat, like Zapdos, it has 2 retreat. You can use switch cart and that'll be fine. Another thing is if you're versing Banette, which I do not think will be quite as good either. It heals 3 damage, which is why this is better than Switch in my opinion. It heals that, and then it also heals from Lost Box if they're playing Sableye. We have 2 Vacuum. Vacuum is also insanely important because Path Mew will definitely be a tier 1 deck. I have no doubt about that. Path Mew pretty much shuts off Gardevoir, it shuts off Drapion, with Roxanne, it shuts off, like, Darkness, Urshifu, it shuts off Miraidon, so you definitely need to get these. These are fine, you can grab them from Arvin, and as long as you have the right amount of Regielekis in play, you're only going to need 2 so that you can one-hit twice. I could also see a Drapion in this deck for the matchup, because with Oricorio and full face guard, which I also believe will be a very powerful backbone card in some decks like Mew, they will have 350 HP, which will be not acquired from 4 Regieleki and a Zapdos even. So that'll be very difficult, maybe even like more vacuum so you can get rid of their tools as well. It's very chaotic of a deck. I think Path Mew will definitely be the best deck in format. But, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. It has 2 Forest Steel Stone, so pretty much you can Arvin for anything since Forest Steel Stone can be attached to... I mean, I'd imagine you have 1V in play, Regieleki probably, and then that would just add on to your consistency engine. And then it has 2 XP shares so that you do not need to use as many electricity generators and hit them all. Because if you attach and then you have an XP share and then you just need to attach, or if you have an XP share attached to a Miraidon, then you grab an energy from the knocked out one, and then you attach for turn, and then you just need to generator for 1. So it's definitely very consistent with this deck, and I think that it's much better than something like Choice Belt. Although, I could also see Choice Belt. That might also work for Mew matchup. Mew matchup is very difficult. I think that, yeah, Path Mew is pretty dominant. And then, yep, there's 16 energy. Now I will try and demonstrate a turn 1. Maybe turn 2, just, like, see how it runs a little bit. Shuffle it a lot to make sure that everything's fine. The deck definitely goes with this playmat pretty well. It's cool. Alright, so this is a pretty good start. So, Miraidon. There was a lot of energy in hand, though. 4, wow. Alright, so draw for turn. Nest Ball's really good. Alright, so let's say that we need to do 310 damage. So, we'll start with this. Search for a few of those. So if we need to do 310, then we grab 1 and 1, and then we use this ability. So use that for the other 2. And then I think using the Nest Ball for Greninja would be good here. And then we use Greninja, draw 2. Arvin's pretty good. Attach. Generator. Alright, so I only grabbed 1 this time. Oh, I grabbed 6 cards. That vacuum must have been hiding. I'm gonna redo that then. Alright, grab 2. I believe it would have just been 1 in the first place, so I'll just grab 1 here. I'll pretend. So now we draw for turn. Attach. We Forest Steel Stone. And then I'm gonna research, so, actually, do I Greninja first? No. So I Force Steel Stone for research. So I draw 7. Switch cards good. Those are all good. I still whiff it. I think. Unless I draw good from the Greninja. So concealed cards, and I do not. Huh. So we could go there. So it looks like it's just going to be 280 turn 1, which is still really good, or turn 2, I mean, especially if it's like a mirror match. I mean, if they did go first, there's nothing that will be 310 HP, so hitting for 280 turn 2 is still very powerful. I mean, like in a typical game, you don't need to hit for 310. I just wanted to see if it was possible. So hitting for 280 here. Say you take 2 prize cards and then draw for 2. So my phone ended up dying as I drew the boss's orders. Everything's the same. Ryan just got knocked out. I already drew. Yep. All right. I have used Forest Seal Stone. It's been a little bit. Catch from Miraidon. I guess I concealed cards first. Alright, research is good. Alright, let's go for the... I'll research this turn. So go for the Vmax. Now I'm going to try and hit for 310 for sure. Which means all I need is... I did whiff the, what's it called? The tool card, XP share. So research. Okay, that's pretty good. Got 3 of them. Alright, first one got 2. Very strong card for sure. I'd probably grab another Miraidon from the ability. And then we retreat. Knock out, 310. I don't know, say it's still 2 prize cards, like a Gardevoir or something. So they go knockout. I can clearly get enough energy next turn and then do the same thing. I could even do 320 next turn. This deck is definitely very, very fast and powerful. I think that if it goes first, it wins most things, except maybe Path Mew. Path Roxanne's tough. And I don't know if there's any like specific Gardevoir matchups. I guess Lost Box with Terracon might be tough. I might do that in a future video. I love this deck overall. Absolutely love the combination. I think it will definitely be really good and heavily played. I also know that some people are playing Ampharos with like Flaffy and Miraidon. I don't really know how I feel about Ampharos. I don't think it's very good. It has a lot of HP, but it does like no damage. Like it knocks out a Miraidon, and that's like it. And a Miraidon can also knock it out. Plus, they need to use Flaffy for like build up, and they need to evolve it. So it's just more of a process. I think that this deck is just more consistent, more fast. Yeah, definitely love this list. So that will be the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to check out the rest of the Moist Star YouTube channel.